What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of EdgeWorks Knife Studio. I am alive. It has been insane, but the great news is I am finally caught up as of today. Well, yesterday evening. As of today, I am good to go, so I can get back on track and pay attention to growing the channel and doing more stuff for you. And in fact, this weekend, I'm currently finishing compiling, probably over the next couple of days, this video where I reveal scratch patterns and compare them from 400 grit vitrified diamond, 1000 grit, etc., up to the 12,000 grit FSK. And that will be revealed in the end of the video of a giant, I say giant, a picture that'll do, like, for example, side by side 400, 1K, 3K, whatever, and then so those four, then the next set, etc. That way you guys can see them side by side and just see the evolution of the scratch pattern and what it looks like vitrified diamonds and removing them. So, and we're going to talk more about vitrified diamonds, but today's video I have one of my favorite little knives. It needs some work. It's not that it isn't a good knife or anything like that, but it has some imperfections. It's a Nakamura Hamono, the Miyazaki prefecture. It's a Santoku type. It's 150 millimeter Aogami 2. Great knife, but there's just some imperfections, some uneven spots here on the bevel flats. I mean, it's not a super expensive knife, but also I wanted to change the bevel angle. So that's kind of a good thing to go through my process, how I do that, what my steps are, how far I take it, etc. So for what I'm wanting to do with this one, because it's such a smaller knife, I mean, compared to my hand, right? This is not a huge knife, 150 millimeter. Trying to see if I had something over here to compare it to. This is just like a standard size Nakiri, right? So, I mean, you can see the size is, I mean, some petties are 150 millimeter, right? But anyway, so what I'm wanting to do is make it more slicey instead of choppy. So I'm just going to thin out the edge bevel after I fix some of the unevenness. And by the unevenness here, you can see, like where this bevel is, maybe you can see. We'll see. We'll see if you can see, if I can see. Well, probably not. But it kind of has like a grind catch is what I like to call it. So like a lot of time was spent on maybe the grinding stone from here to here. And so what it did is, instead of this being a nice V shape, from the spine down, it kind of has a grind here that, instead of going nice and flat from this point down, it kind of like swoops in. It's just like it was ground a little too long is all. It's nothing huge. It's from this spot here up to here, but I need to take the whole side and I need to, to bring it flat, right? That'll help me in many ways down the line with sharpening and stuff, but also, I guess I can bring you back. You can see how close the cladding is to the edge there. So I'm going to pull that back a little bit. What I'm going to try and do too is I want to see, because I haven't done this yet, I want to see what the 1000 grit Cheefarcuut looks like as a finish, how the Kasumi does. Does it do it? Does it not do it, right? Because what I learned with these guys is that when they make this Kasumi finish, they use a sandblaster. I've seen some others, like I think Monomo does it as well. I think, don't hold me to that, I need to double check. But to give you that finish and peel back that layer, they use a sandblaster. I'm assuming it's probably loaded with a Kasumi powder, because you can buy the Kasumi powders from Tosho, where Ivan, it's his store with his partners. Anyway, I'm assuming it's not just regular sandblasting, but I could be wrong. Could just be. But I want to see how well I can bring that back with just these Cheefarcuut 400 and 1000 grit. But after that, if it doesn't give me the edge I'm looking, or the result I'm looking for, Kasumi, I'm going to do a full Kasumi video to show you my process until it's done, right? So I'm going to go the exact stone and progressions that I use to make the Kasumi how I want it on an Aogami 2 Shirogami knife. So don't want to keep you guys going too long, but yeah, it's been nuts. It's been crazy. I was in Tennessee over the weekend. Otherwise, I was going to make a video Sunday, but I forgot all my stuff, and I was like, good Lord. So it figures. Welcome to my life. But like I said, everything's back on track finally. It just happened to be yesterday, so I can make Wednesday's video today. And I should be back to my twice a week. So I've missed it for sure. But I've been so busy. And then my dad almost had a heart attack. It was crazy. He had a 95% blockage, so they took care of him. Anyway, so once again, I'm going to take this, the whole thing, of course, but I'm going to take this little area and I'm going to make this whole thing nice and even and flat. So we'll start with our normal grinding. So you guys that have seen it before know, but you take the knife, you place it on the stone, and you get it completely flat against the stone itself. Like your fingers are going to go on the actual edge here. All right, and this is a Cheefarcuut 400, by the way, again, in case I didn't mention it. So I'm going to make sure that I got my pressure pointed, which would be the equivalent of this area, all right? So down here, without trying to scrape my fingers on the stone itself, because we know how bad that can hurt. I've only bled many times. So away we go. Oh, it feels good. I haven't even sharpened the knife since the last video. I'm not using a ton of pressure because I don't need to. Especially with the Cheefarcuut or the FSK. Yeah, I was at an Airbnb this weekend in Tennessee. It was the car show called Slammed Enough. It was in Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge. I was actually in Sevierville. They had SWAT was called out. They had a riot breakout. But I wish I'd have brought my stones and stuff, because I had a knife at the Airbnb that was just awful. All right, looking at that, just kind of looking at the progress. Man, I tell you what, the Cheefarcuut it's just an insane stone, just like the FSK. I do have another low spot back here, which we have gone over this knife before, and I talked about how this will kind of work itself out during sharpening, but I never really paid attention to the spot over here. So what we're going to basically end up doing is making this all even, so I don't have to worry about that, because I would have to lean this back and sharpen some, which was fine. It worked. It was annoying, but anyway. So here we go. Hope you guys have been good. Hope that you've had, what was it, a week and a half, I guess? A good week and a half. So whenever you're evening up these spots on your bevel and your edge here, it's a good idea. Number one, to use your whole stone, right? You'll see me moving from this side, then I'll move towards the middle, and I'll move over towards the edge, and then I'll bring it back, right? That keeps your stone, you know, these stones are pretty good at wear, so they don't wear down as fast as like 120 grit nanowall and things like that are like silicon carbide stones that, well, they're really friable, and they end up essentially disintegrating, you know, so to speak. These are good at not doing that quickly and withstanding the task, but it's still good to spread it out, because that will happen. You can dish these. It is slower to do so, so you won't notice it as fast, but it is possible. So it used the whole stone. But that also allows you to kind of maneuver the knife across the whole thing and get the whole thing. And it's a more even result. I'm telling you, it's kind of already done except for this back spot here. It's very uniform on the edge section. It's kind of hard to make out, but this doesn't really have as much of a ledge. It still has a little bit there. And like I said, it starts from here and then kind of, essentially it's an exaggeration, but if it curved down like that, from here, bent over and going down, you know. Again, exaggeration, but it is almost completely flat with the rest of this. And now this, I'm going to work on it as well, just to make sure that it joins the party here. It's the same way you thin a knife. In essence, that's kind of what's going on. This knife doesn't really need to be thinned, but it definitely needs to be touched up and evened up. It happens. I got the 1000 grit over there, getting ready to do its thing when we're done with this one. Oh yeah. I got just a little bit of that corner left, and then I think we're good to go to the other side. It's always good to check it, you know, after so many strokes, because you don't want to overgrind it, and that is possible. You can overgrind it. You can fix it if you do overgrind it. It's just more work, especially if you're doing it manually. The best way to do this kind of a thing, to do it quickly, is if you have like a Tormek would actually really do it. I don't have a Tormek and I don't want a Tormek. But if you have a radius platen, so this here is how I would do this, especially, I'm going to do this with ZDP because my ZDP knives, well, the one needs it. But, you know, normally your platen for a belt grinder is flat. Well, that's a radius platen. It's a 36-inch radius. This essentially mimics the curvature of a sharpening wheel, you know, but like they use at the factories, in the Japanese factories. So that mimics that, and because it's curved like that, you can place this on the actual belt grinder, and it'll get that contact right directly here in the center of the curve, and you can peel back that cladding a lot easier. I finally got one. Gosh, it's been a little bit since I bought one, but just haven't set it up and used it. Normally I was doing that stuff on a flat platen, which is possible. It's a pain. But with the radius platen, it just makes such easier work out of all this stuff. Plus you can do hollow grinds if you wanted to with that. You know, you do all kinds of stuff. I'm not a huge fan of hollow grinds, like, unless it's on my straight razors, obviously. I don't know why, I'm just not a huge hollow grind guy. There's nothing wrong with it, but my personal preference is definitely not hollow grind. It's so stubborn. I wonder if that'll show up on camera. Because you can see it. Yeah, well, you can see the discoloration now. You can see and kind of how it dips. That's actually kind of a testament to what it was doing here, is that dip. It just kind of shows you the difference in angle. And that's because this is roughed up and that's kind of shiny from however they did it a little bit. So it's a difference in the contrast between the spot there that's not been touched by this yet as I'm flattening this out. You could hurry it along by taking it down that way, but I'm not going to do that. Actually, what I may do, because it kind of looks almost like a little bit of a bend as well, I'm just going to give this a few more runs here. Yeah, because it's good and flat. And if I do the other side, it'll probably even out. So we'll test that theory to make sure. So like say, I'll just do a few more like this. Before I was doing, you know, focusing here, right? Doing this, and then going here in the middle, and then towards the tip. That's a good way to get started. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the whole thing. I'm going to lay it flat on there. Put my pressure back here. Put one in the middle. You don't have to do it this way necessarily. It's just the way I do it. So that way you're nice and even pressure. I just want to do the middle. And then I'll just get her going here. Had to readjust my fingers. Okay. So much metal. Yeah, we're good. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go to the other side. Okay. So same process. I don't have to do it necessarily as long as I did on that other side, because this isn't really bad at all here. There's a lot of cladding. You can kind of see it there, but that's okay. I plan on, if this takes a little bit to pull that cladding back, I plan on doing the radius platen on this. Not today, but when I do, I'll do a video so you can see the difference and how quickly it does it. How many of you guys have Monday off? Turns out I've got Monday off. I didn't even know it. That's how busy I've been. I don't even really know what Monday is. I just heard that I got it off and I was like, oh wow. Barely know what day it is. It's just been crazy. This is the craziest year at the school I work at since I started there. These kids are giving us a run for our money. You should take a bet on which hand is going to bleed, my right or my left. Oh wow, that's actually peeling that cladding back really well. See, this side was flatter, so I think that plays a huge role. Let's take a look. Oh wow. Now that's insane. So if you look, that's peeled that back a significant amount. That's insane. I didn't expect that to be that quick. It's not that I don't think that this is capable of it. It's just that usually when dealing with an iron cladding, peeling this back that far, that fast is not something I've had a lot of success with. Normally, whenever I'm doing this, I'll spend lots of time doing this. I mean, we're talking half hour, hour sometimes, you know. That's all right, though. What I may do too is I may cut it until I get to the next result. That way it's not just some super crazy long video watching me work on each grit. Because I mean, it's just monotonous, you know. So just FYI, I may cut it here, and then I'll come back to you guys when I'm ready for the 1000. All right, guys, back. And we've got some pretty good peel back here on the cladding. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to swap on over to the 1000 grit. This is still the one that I've been using to try and test. And there's quite a bit of abrasive left. I mean, it's still insane. So, yeah, and I've been doing things like what I'm doing now with the whole thinning and lots of repairs and stuff. So, I'm impressed. Color me impressed. So here's the 1000 grit side of the dual grit Cheefarcuut. And don't worry, Rickster, I'm gonna pop up that video about the system you were curious about. I gotta record a little bit more about that, and then I'll get that up there for you. Let's see here. Yeah, I hate that I haven't been able to consistently upload, guys. That's not what I wanted to do at all. So I apologize. Yeah, I got to the point where I would come home and I was in bed by like 6:30 some nights. I know that sounds crazy, but man, it was insane. All right, let's go. Just for reference sake, here's what it looks like on the 1000, or before the 1000. Let's see what we got. Noticeable difference in sound and, well, obviously in feel too. Okay. Definitely feels good. Oh wow, I peeled off a burr. A very thin burr. Like, I didn't even think I'd made one, to be honest. Unless that's a hair. Some of it broke like metal, and then some of it was, maybe some of it was a burr and some of it was hair. The 1000 side does load a little bit. Not bad. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't say not bad. Maybe it kind of does. Okay, so that's not going to do a Kasumi. Not a hazy one for sure. I say that because if you look here, we now have a little bit of a shine. We're working on a mirror. So that's not terrible. I don't dislike it, but that's not what I want. So what I'll do here is I'll just do the other side real fast. I'm not even going to continue. I'll just use it for the edge. And what we'll do is I'll do a video and I'll use the naturals and synthetics that I like to use for a Kasumi, and the process that I use for it. And we'll do a full-on Kasumi. So I'll go ahead and do this side real quick, and then we'll put an edge on. because that was the whole point, is I wanted to change the bevel. I wanted to make this thing a little slicier. Hey, there goes my little poochies. Not quite certain what they're barking at. Okay. All right. Put a little focus pressure here, like I did on the other side. Okay. Okay. It's got this weird little blow spot here, which is something else I'll have to work on with the radius platen. I could do it with stones. That's not a problem. But that would take an awful long time, considering where it's at. Well, depending on how flat it is, I guess, technically, because if it's relatively flat up in that higher spot, it won't be an issue. But if it's not, then it's just going to take time. Okay. I think we're even. Even Steven. Yeah. For the most part. It's a little cloudy and stuff. So real quick, I'm going to clean this guy. Whoops. And then we'll go ahead and put our bevel on. I'm going to bring the 400 back out for that. We'll finish it with the 1K. And we'll call it good. Okay, I'm going to take it over here and rinse it off. Bring back my 400. Oh, goodness. Ooh, I need to do that just a little more. Yeah, that took a little longer to clean than I needed it to, so I cut it. We're back. Okay. So what I said was I wanted this to be a little slicey. So as far as my angle goes, it's going to be a little more, well, it's just going to be a slicier edge. So it's going to be kind of a, probably more of a, I don't know, 13 degrees per side, roughly 13, 14, something like that, instead of my typical between 16, 17. Sometimes my natural hold is anywhere from like 15 something to 17.6 is what I've clocked it and measured it to be with consistency. So I'm going to kind of go for, like I said, a little more slicey kind of a profile, and use this as a slicer. So let's go ahead and we'll get her started. Actually, where are we at right now? Actually, to be honest, it might be with that thinning and then holding it at the edge. That might actually be kind of fun. Then to test how long that edge holds, you know. I'm curious about something before I get started. We got to try it. Just out of curiosity. Oh, I may not have to do anything. Good Lord. I think I'm pretty satisfied with that. Good night, Irene. Huh. Oops. guess I'll do it this way. Oh. I have to get a different paper towel probably. But get a different one. Actually, before I do that real quick, I'm going to run it on my stribbity strop. Gotta keep it nice and flat like I did with the evening up the sides there, you know, on the essentially the thinning angle. That'd be really cool if I don't have to sharpen it. Not because I don't want to sharpen, but because like a nice inadvertent little trick there. Let's see if that made any difference. Oh yeah. Good Lord. Okay, this is the crappy paper towels that I hate cutting because they don't really cut all that well. One of them's side's bent from sitting on the thing. All right, let's see. No, it's doing it. It's doing the thing. It's doing the thing. Oops, that was just a tear. Yeah, she cutting. Oh my God. Oop. Let me get these other paper towels that I love. And I gotta say, you know, cutting paper towel has to do with a toothy edge, right? I mean, a good edge, but a toothy edge. Let's just make sure that we got that out there. Oh, yeah. So she Gucci, man. Wow. I don't need to sharpen it. So the angle that I was essentially thinning at, that was perfect for what I wanted to do for the slicer. The only thing is I'm worried about the stability of the edge because it is going to be a thinner edge, obviously. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test its longevity like this. I don't know how well it'll come up, if at all, because I tried to do this 1,000 times. Try to show how thin that is, but you're not going to be able to see it, especially with the way that this is set. Maybe a little bit there. With the white background, maybe. Sometimes I think that helps. I mean, that kind of will give you a little bit of an idea how thin it is. It's stupid thin. But I'll test it with what I plan on cutting it with, which is going to be potatoes, tomatoes. Ooh, I got an idea. I'll be right back, guys. If I cut it, it's because I'm going to go upstairs and get a tomato. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So here's a tomato. I just cut the top of it off. This is out of the garden. This one, I picked it a couple days ago, and it was blushing, and it's kind of started to ripen some. So let's just go ahead and we'll set her on down here. And here we go. I'm just going to hold it 2 fingers and see what happens. Yeah. Yeah, I do believe we... 100%. I am literally, I'm going to just here, I'll hold it back here even. Get this out of my way because I keep hitting it with my fingers. So again. Well, shiver me timbers. I forgot I had my tomatoes from the garden, so there you be. That's sharp. I don't care what nobody says. So yeah, the paper towel test was kind of funky on that one paper towel, but that proves it, because that's the kind of stuff I'm going to use it for, is the tomato. Potatoes, tomatoes, broccoli, cauliflower, whatever, you name it, onions. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. A little oxidation to go with it. It's beautiful. So appreciate you guys tuning in. I couldn't do this without your support. Again, sorry for the absence. It has unfortunately been a madhouse at my work, but I am finally caught up and we're good to go. So this weekend, like I said, I'm going to do the thing with the vitrified comparison for scratch patterns, as well as the Cheefarcuut system. I know Rick's wanting to see that, and I wanted to do some more thorough investigation with it. And I got a whole bunch of stuff backlogged that I'm going to do for you guys. So back on track. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all tuning in, and I'll see you this weekend. Peace.